Well, you got some good stuff on there.
I'd like to call the meeting to order, the county board. Would you please rise and join with me in reciting the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome everybody here this morning. This is the monthly meeting of the Edgar County Board. Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll when you have a chance?
Good morning. Patrick. Here. Bruner. Here. Lorenzen. Here. Farnham. Here. Chittick. Here. Luddington. Here. Voigt.
Here. Everybody is present. Next item of business is the minutes from the regular minutes from April 10th of 2019 and the special meeting minutes of April 22nd, 2019. You've all had those available to you. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve those minutes as presented by the clerk.
Second.
Okay, Derek moves, Dan seconds. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Thank you, they are approved. Claims against the county. You have had those in front of you. Are there any questions or clarifications that are needed? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve those claims against the county.
So moved.
Derek moves. Andy seconds. Further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Those claims are approved. Next, we have the county board member claims. Any questions, clarifications? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Derek moves.
Second.
Dan seconds. Further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. They are approved. Next, we come to the portion of the meeting where we ask for public comment. We allot 5 minutes per speaker. We'd appreciate it if you'd be good enough to identify yourself. So I open the rostrum up to whoever would like to make a public comment this morning.
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 I'm John Pratt. Are you still on the ETSB?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm here to talk about item number 18. If you were to read the section in the Emergency Telephone System Act, it provides under appointment to the board that only one county board member may serve on the Emergency Telephone System Board. So I'm asking that you table item 18 because that would put a second person on the Emergency Telephone System Board. Here's an Attorney General opinion from December 4, 1996 that quotes the same paragraph in the ETSB law that has been unchanged since then, and I'll give that to you. That's all I have. Thanks.
I had a question. I did ask about that. In fact, I talked to Mr. Allen, and Mr. Allen informed me that another member of the board could be appointed to the 911 board as a citizen. It just needed at least one board member. So that's what we relied on, and so go ahead, Kirk. I asked you that 3 months ago.
I recall we talked about several things, but as far as whether more than one can or not, if I recall, I would have to look into it and get back to you, but all that aside, the law's real clear. AG opinion is supported, you can only have one. So tabling it shouldn't be a big issue. The one concern that I do have, and we brought this up in the past, in that same Attorney General opinion, it outlines, as well as the statute, the requirements of public safety personnel to be on that, and it even emphasizes with those who are the most experienced, based on their ability or experience. With Eric resigning from ETSB, we now no longer have any ambulance experience. So I would urge that you seek someone out in that field. We've talked about whether or not I would be appointed. You know, if you appoint me to that, it's an electrifying situation because I'm pretty intolerant of some of the things that go on. If you need someone to serve temporarily, I don't have a problem doing that. But there's things that, be prepared, we still, I don't know, and you weren't at the meeting, the last one I went to on ETSB, Carl. There's documentation with the state police, financial reporting that doesn't match county audits. And I brought that to the board and I was assured that I would be provided an answer to that. And so far, nothing. And in particular, when the state police and that law changed, when the state police takes it over, they ask for what our reserves in 911 were. And it's supposed to be financially reported to the state police. Now, our financial reserves, according to our audit, signed under oath of perjury by your director, the state police had 0, but our audit had in excess of $800,000. And it was more than 1 year that that type of reporting took place, and I was wanting to get clarification. That still hasn't happened. I would encourage you to find someone that's got both experience in that field from the EMS side. There's a lot of things that we still need to get fixed. We've still got dead zones in this county. The Grandview, southern Kansas area is still a dead zone. I've gotten nowhere talking with your ETSB about that. I've talked to Troy numerous times, and if he's not here, but if he was, I would tell him to his face like I did on the phone. It's a bunch of lip service. It's a problem. The other thing I want to raise, during the last meeting, it was brought up during the discussion of the ambulance contract. There was concerns over either, I think it was response times, it was what you had referenced in things that you would look into. I know we've got some new dispatchers, I know we've got some issues there, but I can tell you, when it comes to response time, we get dispatched to a place that's not even in our district. And we've literally argued over the phone, hey, we're on our way, we're going, but this isn't our district. So when we get there, it's a long response time because it's not our district. So to have that blanket, hey, there's a response time issue, well, that may not be the provider's problem. It may be the dispatcher's problem, not knowing what the districts are and who needs to be dispatched. That comes back to a training issue. Multiple dispatchers have left, but we've also been told that your director has provided the training for them so they don't have to worry about doing it. And I've got 2 different folks that have acknowledged that. And I can get you the documentation that they gave me that says that's what happened. So we're back to the same issue that started the entire Watchdog program, and that was your ETSB director either not doing training or doing it for people instead of them doing it. And I would urge that if you're going to appoint someone to replace Eric, find someone that's got some experience in the field as well as in the communications and the side of actually responding. Because this problem hasn't gone away in 6 years. It hasn't. And unfortunately, it's not going to until you find a new director of your 911 system. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kirk.
May I comment?
Sure.
I think that we have a citizen of Edgar County that has expressed interest in serving on the 911 board, if I remember right.
I'm sorry?
Don't we have a citizen of Edgar County that has expressed an interest of serving on the 911 board?
We actually have several.
Okay.
All right.
I just remember one. So.
All right. And we don't want to be naming anybody.
I didn't
right
mention
now.
it.
All right.
No.
Oh, come on, name them.
Nah.
Any further public comment?
I'm Samantha McCarty. I'm the Director of Emergency Services for Horizon Health. I wanted to give the board and the chairman an update on where we are since the last board meeting. Staff have been hired. We've increased our staffing. They're in the process of being trained and oriented to our policies, procedures, and equipment. The 3rd ambulance arrived yesterday and was checked in. It's in the process of being outfitted and equipped with radios and equipment to prepare for the IDPH and system inspection. And the ALS non-transport vehicle arrived last week, and it too is in the process of being equipped with radios, lights, sirens, and equipment. Is there any questions from the board?
When are you expecting the 4th ambulance?
Mid-June. I don't have a date on it yet. I've received photos from the factory, but it has not arrived to the facility, and an estimated date of arrival. It comes out of North Carolina, so.
Okay,
Any other questions?
thank you.
Just for my own curiosity, I assume with the radios and communications, you've been working with the ETSB on making sure that that's all synced up, same
In
page.
fact, we did, originally, when we started this operation, we went with Kenwood radios because our contract is out of Terre Haute with commercial radio service. There has been some issue in working with the ETSB that there's been some weak transmissions, if you will. So we went back, re-educated the staff on making sure that they were keying up the radio, waiting for a moment and then speaking. It didn't resolve some of those issues. So the board at Horizon Health voted to completely scrap all of our Kenwood equipment, and we have purchased all new Motorola equipment, which is being installed by the same contractor that does all the county work as well. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? All right, moving along. We have a resolution of support to apply for FY21 Highway Safety Improvement Program funding for CH4 Lower Terre Haute Road. Do you want to say it?
Application is due in June before we meet again, and wanted to make sure we had, as we discussed on Monday night, or Monday morning, want to make sure the board would support going after additional funds for a HSIP project that we've already done. Doesn't necessarily mean we'll put in, but want to make sure, based on our up-to-date funding issues, we want to make sure that the board would vote in favor of applying for that by the June 4th deadline, or whatever it was. So this is your opportunity to either think that's a good idea or not. We decided, I think, Monday that we all think that it's a good idea to go ahead and request additional funds. Any questions? Got some new challenges, but I think we all agreed Monday that the best path forward would be to request additional funds for the corrections.
Do I hear a motion for the resolution?
So moved.
Derek moves. John seconds. Further discussion? Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Patrick?
Yes.
Bruner?
Yes.
Lorenzen?
Yes.
Farnham?
Yes.
Chittick?
Yes,
Luddington?
Yes.
It does carry. Thank you. The next item is a redo. We found, just out of abundance of caution and care, that we should redo the acceptance of the ambulance bid. So we need a motion to bring that subject off the table first, just like we did at the last special meeting. So I need a motion to remove the ambulance bid from the table.
So moved.
Derek moves. Andy seconds. All those in favor of bringing it off the table signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. It is off the table. Now we need a motion to approve the bid submitted by Horizon Health Ambulance bid for its acceptance. So I'm looking for a motion to do that.
So moved.
Derek moves. Andy seconds. Discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk call the roll?
Sir. Patrick?
Yes.
Bruner?
No.
Lorenzen?
Yes.
Farnham?
Yes.
Chittick?
no,
Luddington?
No.
Voigt?
Yes. Okay, it does carry. Now we have a resolution to abate the FY19 Special Services Area Number 1 ambulance levy. That was passed back in November. in consultation with the state's attorney, this is what we need to do in order to have it removed from the tax bills that will be going out here soon. So do I hear a motion to abate the levy?
May I ask a point for clarification first on that? And I brought it up Monday, but I just want to double check, and I wish Don was here, that we have met all our contractual obligations with Edgar County Ambulance Service, and there's not going to be an outstanding bill for this half of the year
Our state's attorney.
or past services.
You have heard from the state's attorney?
Yes, John, good question. The state's attorney has looked into that. He's discussed that with Don and myself,
Okay.
and it is his opinion that all of our contractual obligations have been met.
Okay, I've just heard some discussion on it and wanted to make sure we were all on the same page.
No problem, thank you.
Did he put it right?
Do we have a motion to abate those, the resolution to abate the taxes for the ambulance levy?
So moved.
We have a motion by Derek. Andy seconds. Further discussion?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Say, 3 years from now, can that tax be levied again?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Clerk?
Patrick,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Farnham,
Yes.
Chittick,
Yes.
Luddington.
Yes.
Does carry. The next item, I want to explain, we don't need to take any action on that resolution because the attorneys have not gotten to the point where they're willing to and approve the draft so everybody can see it. So hopefully it'll be in the next day or two. I talked to Mark yesterday, and he and Dick James were, the hospital's attorney, were working on that, and they hope to have it out directly, okay? So, do we need to table that, do you think? Motion to table?
So moved.
Derek moves, Andy seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Okay. The idea and what the state's attorney is shooting for is a special meeting before the 20th, or on the 20th, before our study session. They know they'll be ready and have it circulated with enough time for everybody to consider the document. Okay? Let's see. Next, we have authorized chairman to execute contract with the Mid-America Elevator Company. Andy?
We presently have, well, had a contract with Dyson Krupp, and I've been somewhat going back and forth. And I finally gave it to the state's attorney to look at, and basically what we had was a contract with AMCO Elevators. We didn't have, they just assumed all of the contracts from AMCO, Dyson Krupp did. And so there were a lot of discrepancies in that old contract. It said they were supposed to, they were, for example, one was they were supposed to inspect the elevator monthly. And then that's what the contract stated, but they had, at some point in time, I take it when Dyson Krupp took over, started servicing the elevator quarterly. And the last paragraph of the contract with AMCO Elevators stated that any revisions or any changes to that contract needed to be signed by the elevator company and by us. And so there were actually numerous things in that contract that they hadn't been sticking to. So I asked, in Mark's opinion on that, he said that technically, since they had broken the contract, that we really didn't have an elevator maintenance contract possibly, because they weren't abiding by it. We hadn't signed anything, they hadn't signed anything, so I contacted this company, or he contacted me out of Terre Haute. They're actually headquartered out of Indianapolis, but the guy who services the local area is out of Terre Haute, and our other contract with Dyson Krupp was around $3,500 some odd dollars, and they're coming in at the exact same service at about 1,900. So it's a savings, and it's the same service. In fact, this guy who's servicing it, used to work for AMCO, and he actually serviced this elevator years ago when AMCO had the contract, so he's familiar with the elevator, he's familiar with the whole working, so. I told him, give me a contract, and I'll go from there, so that's what we're doing.
So you're making a motion to
I'll make a motion to,
approve the resolution?
That original AMCO contract, I know I heard that dated back, was it the
1990.
nineties? Oh, 90?
1990.
Okay.
And then, in fact, the state's attorney he said, is there somewhere an updated contract? And I said, no, we couldn't find one. I asked Augie, and he had trouble even, well, you never could find anything, could you? I mean, in 1990, that was before you and me. So,
You weren't even born yet.
Thank you.
Do I hear a second on this?
Also,
Sorry.
John
you can have
second.
it if you want.
John seconds. Any further discussion? Mr. Clerk?
Patrick,
yes.
Bruner,
Yes.
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Farnham,
Yes.
Chittick,
Yes.
Luddington.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Andy. Thank you, Board. Next, we need to authorize chairman to execute financing agreement with Prospect Bank for new voting equipment.
Wow, you talk about red tape. This is the third time we've brought this issue to the board, and we thought that our last resolution where we authorized the treasurer to seek or obtain financing for new voting equipment was going to be satisfactory. Turns out they want a resolution that specifically names Prospect Bank. So that's what this is.
Maybe this will be the charm, third time. I
And-
hear a
and
vote. Oh,
If there's a question or an issue about that, there's a guy across the street that is
looks a lot like him.
handling that. I didn't say that. Get after him.
Handsome. Okay. Dan moves.
Second.
Derek seconds. Further discussion? Mr. Clerk?
Patrick,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Farnham,
Yes.
Chittick,
Yes.
Luddington.
Yes.
Okay, next item. Mr. Patrick, can you check the hallway to make sure it's clear? Please. Resolution of issue special events liquor license to Robert E. Morgan doing business as Castle Finn Winery or Vineyard and Winery, Inc. Have a motion to approve that. Dan moves.
Second.
Derek seconds. All those, sorry, we need to take a roll call vote.
Yes. Patrick. Oh, I'm sorry. He left the room. Brunner,
Yes.
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Farnham,
Yes.
Chittick,
Yes.
Luddington.
Yes.
Okay. Could somebody ask Mr. Patrick to come back in, please? Just out of abundance of caution, guys, just to make sure there's no issues. Everything clear, Andy? Okay, resolution approving oath and bond for Dennis English, trustee, Metcalf Fire Protection District. Need a motion to approve resolution.
So moved.
Derek moves, Carl seconds. Mr. Clerk.
Patrick,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Farnham,
Yes.
Chittick,
Yes.
Luddington.
Yes.
Okay, resolution reappointing Dennis English, trustee of the Metcalf Fire Protection District. Motion, please.
So moved.
Derek moves, Carl seconds.
Ready?
Yep.
Patrick,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Farnham,
Yes.
Chittick,
Yes.
Luddington.
Yes.
Next, we have a letter of resignation from Eric Shaughnessy from the ETSB, effective immediately. And I have a motion to approve that, or, yeah, motion to accept that resignation, please.
So moved.
Derek moves. Carl seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Next, I have read this and I appreciate John bringing this up. We will probably be withdrawing this. I'll double check. I mean, it's pretty clear even to me, and I don't even play an attorney on TV, that we're gonna have to come up with another solution. I appreciate Andy offering to do that, but out of, again, abundance of caution and doing things the right way, we're probably gonna have to head in a different direction. I would ask that if anybody has some individuals with experience out in the county that would be willing to serve, other than Kirk. No.
I think it'll be a 7-0.
Is that on the record?
Yeah, I think so now. We will accept any and all applications for consideration to that position, and your point is well taken, and we appreciate it. Somebody else made that point to me earlier, and I didn't listen as good, so. At any rate, we'll, don't roll your eyes, Carl. So
If we
anyway.
talk to and know of people, do you want us to just contact you
No,
and put
would
them
you-
on, or wait till study session, or what's that?
Why don't you let me know first,
Okay.
okay, please?
Okay.
We have had two, I think, well-qualified people already suggested, so
Yeah.
we'll go from there, all right? But we appreciate it. Okay, so 18 is not, or niet, or whatever you want to say. Accept resignation of Pete Spoon from rides, effective immediately. Pete has a job that doesn't permit him to serve on that position anymore. He's working with, well, it doesn't matter where he's working, but he just can't do it. He's working a lot of hours and just can't give it what he needs. So a motion to accept Pete's resignation. Carl moves, John seconds.
Need somebody to fill that slot?
Yes. That I might consider. Seriously. We'll talk later,
Do
please.
we have a replacement in mind?
Well, no, I do not have a replacement, so I appreciate I was gonna get into that. Let's accept the letter first. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay? Now, if there are people that you're aware of out in the community that would be an asset to that board and represent our county like it should be and has been, we'd appreciate it, okay? And I will talk to you later about it. Okay, next, this is really important, okay? We got a farmland committee to appoint 3 people to. John Chittick, who has said yes, Dale English, who has said yes, and Greg Henry, who has said yes. So we need a motion to put these 3 gentlemen back on the farmland committee. Motion, please. Carl moves, Andy seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Okay,
I appreciated that on that one. My fault.
okay, next we have authorized Patty McHenry and DAR to restore Gettysburg Address Monument on the East Courthouse lawn. We need an authorization just as a formality.
The paper last week that they were doing that,
Is that the same one?
that same one? Okay.
No,
it's
I didn't
one.
think it was.
Okay.
Okay. Sheriff, are you okay with this and everything?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, it's the proper channels. I need a
Same
motion.
group and new monument.
Okay,
Yes.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Dan moves,
Second.
Derek seconds. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay. You will notify them? Okay.
Yes.
Resolution establishing civil fees and criminal and traffic assessments to be charged by the clerk of the circuit court. And I want to assure you, do we have that document on the table, I assume, for you guys?
Yes.
And the state's attorney and the Judge Garst have both reviewed that and signed off on that. So Angie, do you have anything you want to add to that?
It's pretty self-explanatory. the Supreme Court, we've talked about it before, wanted to make a more consistent way that the clerks assess fees. So they're not called costs anymore, it's all assessments, and then there's conditional assessments that the judge has to state in court as well. But it's all in there pretty much, and it takes effect July 1st. Were there any questions? Did anyone have any questions about it? It replaces the previous resolution that was passed on December 10th of 2003, setting forth all of the assessments that we were to take up until now.
Well, we just got a copy of it, so I haven't, obviously, there's several pages to read through it, but is the fee schedule changed because of changing the law on what these fees have to be, or where did you come up with these fee figures?
The General Assembly has passed, supporting legislation. Bruce Rauner signed off on it. It is law.
Okay. These fees are what is in the statute.
Yes, it is what it is.
Right.
Yes.
Is it going to have a negative, or is it a wash? Do
Well,
we just not know until we actually apply them?
well, the way it looks on paper right now, it looks like we would be coming out ahead, but with the change in the fee waiver, the criminal cases, they will have the opportunity to have their fees waived depending, I think I sent a copy of the chart that shows the poverty level per household, anyway, it should have been in your packet. And the judge will have the opportunity to waive 100%, 75%, 50, or 25% of their fees.
Yeah, it's the last
So-
page of your document.
We don't know right now how that's gonna impact us.
I just was asking, so
Yeah.
we'd be prepared. Okay?
Some of the assessments that will take effect on July 1st are raised, like dock storage, and it's up to, what was it, 20? I believe it's 15 now, and they raise it to 20. I mean, before, like, it could be from 5 to 30 or 35, and some counties were taking more, they're making them, everybody takes the same. Unless you're like in Cook County or Kane County. So, they've really made it across the board. Everybody in the state's doing the same thing.
Okay. Questions, further clarification? These go into effect June 1.
July 1st.
July 1st, but
Yes.
they have to be set up now, right?
Well, we needed to get it set up now so we can get it to our, okay, with e-filing, that brings another level of implementation. They need to get all the new configurations in. We're beginning criminal e-file for, not for initiating a case yet, but for subsequent filings. We're gonna begin that soon too.
Okay, thank you, Angie. Mr. Clerk?
You don't have a motion?
Oh, I don't have a motion, sorry. Dan moves, John seconds. Now, further discussion. Sorry, I got ahead of myself there. Yes, sir.
What happens if they can't pay the fine? They go to jail or write it off or what?
Comes
Some
out
of
of
those
their
fines
bond.
are fairly high.
Reinvest in pharmaceuticals?
Well, they'll have 30 days to file a waiver
Okay.
after they're sentenced. And the public defender has already made the comment that, well, he doesn't really want to have to be in charge of it, but I don't know if we'll have to have it on the bench, you know, like the fee waiver, and hand it to them.
But all of them won't get a fee waiver, correct?
They can't waive
Or some of these are
court
like-
services, I
No.
think.
Well, remember, we still have a bond on most of them that we're keeping, that the judges can, tap into the bond.
However, they're giving them $30 a day credit now, so that's kind of cutting into that too. I
Okay.
mean,
They have a payment plan set up.
I think-
Credit cards.
I think they should, I
Don't
can't,
look
I
like
can't say what I think.
I just wondered, because some of the fines are very expensive. A lot of people can't afford to pay the fines, so,
Yeah,
Don't break the law.
yeah, well, true.
a lot of times they might pay $5 a month, you know, and be paying it forever, and never do, you know.
I
And
just wondered.
The judges and Angie will monitor that, and I'm sure they will have something to say at the end. Further? Okay. Mr. Clerk?
Patrick,
Yes.
Bruner,
Yes.
Lorenzen. Yes. Farnham,
yes.
Chittick,
Yes.
Luddington.
Yes.
Does carry. So that is into effect, and as you can, we'd sure like to hear how it's working, and I'm sure you'll be in consultation, like I said, with the judges and so forth to see
Yeah,
what's going on.
my thought is we probably won't know until maybe a year from now even, because it starts July 1st, but we'll be still collecting on the old schedules
Sure.
for a while,
Okay,
anyway. Thank you.
thank you. Don will not be here today. I think you all know that he has had some stuff come up for him personally, but he's still there. He's just not moving around real good. So I'd like to, you do have fund balance. And he wanted me to assure you all that even though it shows a -31, we have well over 100,000 in cash that he is receiving or has received that both is reflected here. And that doesn't even include some of the big stuff coming from the state. So everything is fine. That also includes the payroll that will be issued out this Friday. So that's all up to date. I'm sure he will be back with us as he can next month, okay? Aaron, do you have anything?
I have nothing.
You don't want to say anything about the project that we all see going on just north of
Oh,
here?
that's going well, except for the weather.
Yeah.
I'd like that to go quicker, but we've had rain, I think we got rain coming in tonight, so.
See, they're forming up curbs.
Yep, on the curbs, that project, we'll finish that project. We won't complete it 100%, but we'll get that project. There's been a lot of deep excavations, which makes us a little reluctant to put anything, a finished surface on it. I think we've talked about that, so if anybody asks you out in the public, why aren't you finishing it? We think that some of those foundation removals are gonna cause some possible
So
settlements.
you got compaction issues?
Yeah, we have time to let Mother Nature have that lot for a while, so.
Once you finish, it'll probably stop raining.
Yeah.
There's no compaction.
Honestly.
Thank
So you
you.
guys happy with it? Any questions on it, or? Yeah, for me, or?
I had a lot of people asking what that lot's gonna be used for. Do we actually have a use for it now, or is?
Yeah, it's gonna be parking.
Yeah, we're calling it,
I just-
what I tell people is.
I
it's
tell them that, but they kind of still question it. I'm just asking.
We talked about a new civic center, and there's just all kinds
The
of
future,
possibilities
you know,
there.
there's all kinds of things that that lot could be used for. Okay,
Just as a timeline clarification piece, when we
The
talked
warranty
about
with stipulations was,
that lot, there wasn't a near-term plan, I thought, to put any kind of prepared surface on it. It was rocked for at least the near term. Did that change or?
that
I
sounds
missed something?
correct, yeah. Both of those warranty deeds with stipulations, I don't even remember which lot was first, do you, Jeff?
yeah, the other one's first.
The
You're
other one's
working on
first.
it out of order, but that's okay.
Well, we need to get Jeff, I've been talking to Jeff, we're gonna, getting behind his building's gonna be a trick.
Well,
So he needs some room, and so everybody can see the obvious, he's gonna utilize somewhat that lot while we make a mess behind the jail.
yeah,
So-
the timeline asks the other lot to be done first, and then the other one has to be done a year later,
Yeah.
but
I don't
it
see-
sounds
I don't see
like
a
it's all
problem with it, yeah.
manageable.
And the state's attorney debated substantially complete. What it's substantially complete. I mean, if one tree's not planted, is it not substantially complete?
Sure. Well, as far as the surfacing goes, I mean, everyone would agree that, taking the prudent course and making sure the surface is prepared before we actually put anything down is the way to go, so.
Yes.
And I think there wasn't anything like that, anytime we had a discussion about the lot right adjacent to the jail, that is a prepared surface and always has been.
Yes.
It's a bigger lot across the
Absolutely.
street.
And it would be placed regardless of our concerns, that's correct.
Right.
There'll be a different level of care taken and urgency taken when we're on the other side. I go as far as to say this is casual versus what's gonna happen and measured.
Mhm.
But when we get behind, Jeff's got plans to use side doors and, yeah, it's gonna be a different, pace when we get behind the jail.
Just to that end, have we heard any kind of timelines from Prospect Bank as
We
far
have
as?
not.
Okay.
Yeah, but again, we're kind of on a separate track.
Sure, and we've had this discussion before, but just as it pertains to that lot behind the jail,
Yeah.
how it butts up against that other project, just wanna
Yeah.
make sure that we're, at the very least, in, thorough communication as far as.
Yes, I think, there's an alley that separates us, and,
Right.
I don't see any problem whatsoever. You guys might get complaints about the sidewalks and the alleys, because that's what you're gonna have, you're gonna have improvement inside of, rougher streetscape, for example, like the sidewalk in front of this parking lot, they're like, well, why don't you tear that out in place? I've heard that 100 times, and that's,
Or maybe.
right.
Okay,
So, yeah, I don't think I've heard more. You guys let me know if you have any questions, please.
Thanks, I
Anytime.
appreciate it.
Give me a call.
didn't mean to open up a can, but that's what's happening right now,
You gotta
okay?
be careful with me, don't you?
Yeah. You'd think I'd learn. Monty, the hero.
On a positive note, the Comptroller's Office has caught up on reimbursements for probation and almost reached our full amount for state fiscal year 2019, so we're looking good.
Anything else?
I'm looking good at the moment. I'm gonna stop there and
Dina?
As far as 2018, since the last board meeting, we got official word from the Department of Revenue. Our final multiplier is a 1, so tax bills that come out here in a few weeks will not have any change to the AV due to a multiplier. 2019, we have finished the quad work, so we move forward with calculations.
Sure, everybody's tickled to death.
Right.
Sheriff?
I have none for this time, thank you.
Okay. Angie?
I just had one other thing. With that July 1st implementation of Public Act, what number was it? With Public Act 100-0987 is the Criminal and Traffic Assessment Act. The tickets that the agencies use, the citations, the ones they're using now will no longer be good. And so they're gonna all have to order new tickets. The other thing I was thinking is, I just got an invitation to go to Coles County. DigiTicket is gonna be there doing a demo, and I would like to, if any law enforcement agencies wanna go with, or hint, we would learn about e-citation, doing electronic citations. It's expensive as well,
Well, of course it is.
obviously, but
Jeff?
You didn't order a whole bunch of tickets last month, did you?
They're probably on their way now.
I've been trying to get the word out for a few weeks, but
Thanks, Angie. Anything else?
I think that's it for
No,
today.
thank you. Jill, we've got stuff coming up.
Yeah, we turn in our emergency operations plan to the state. We have our exercise tomorrow, fire training center around roughly 10 a.m. was when everybody will be dispatched. Doing a search and rescue. That's about it.
Okay. Any questions? Tom?
We are eagerly awaiting the start of our ramp expansion project and our installation of our new fuel farm. And I spoke to the contractor last week, and he said they would try and be on site this week, but we have yet to see them.
It's gonna be next week now. Hey Ken, how are you?
Doing just fine,
Glad to see you again.
thank you.
How much longer are we gonna see you?
4 months.
4 months, okay, all right.
The search committee is beginning interviewing next week of the finalists for my replacement. Well, I wanted to share, and I'll pass these out later, I have a little magnet that lists some of the important phone numbers that people can refer others to or call that relate to good services that are by telephone. But also more importantly, we have a new wallet-size card for HRC that lists our open access hours. That's important because I'm still running into people who don't know. People can just walk in during those times to get immediate access to services. Nationally, we have a problem with addictions and mental illness taking their toll on our schools and our community. Edgar County is no exception. And sometimes early intervention makes a really big difference. So I have supplies of these if there's an area where you'd like to keep them handy. Sometimes that call or just coming in at an earlier stage makes a big difference and could save a life. So I appreciate anyone that does here. I'll be glad to pass them out.
Thank you, Ken. That's good to see you again. Augie?
Well, the only other thing that I have is we are nearing the completion of our part of the tax cycle. Our target date to hand everything over to Dawn is May 17th. So right now we have sent out our approval forms to all the municipalities and the taxing districts, and we're waiting to get those back in. And then once we do, I will give it a final look over, and then we'll hand it off to Don. So I'll give him a couple weeks to look at it, and I can't speak for him, but the last time we talked, he was shooting for a June 1st mail out. Dina, unless you know otherwise?
I do not.
Okay, but that's the last he and I spoke about it, so we're on track. We're on track.
Any questions of the clerk? Okay. Did I miss anybody? Okay, committee reports? Dan?
Well, it's not really my committee. There's no committee that mows the yard over on Wood Street. But I've been mowing the yard, but because of recent surgery, I can't do the weed eating. So there's been people complaining about the weeds tall next to Wood Street. So I got a volunteer yesterday, so it's all been taken care of.
Okay.
So it looks really good.
Thank you.
And the
I'm
guy
glad to
hasn't
hear
come
that.
back to buy the house yet, so try to get his name.
After you talk him out of it.
Well, you gotta take the cats too, so that's the problem. No, it's all cleaned up, looks good.
Good, I'm glad. Thank you, Dan,
You're welcome.
for your efforts too. Andy?
At this point, I don't know if I've had some emails from Ori on SmartWalk. Nothing, he gave him his information he wanted, and we're just kind of waiting right now.
Yes.
I mean, we're in the holding pattern there, but I think within the next few weeks, probably all right.
Once we move past these issues we're at now, that should get cranked out, okay?
That's it.
Are we in a position to move forward after the paperwork's done as far as the health department goes? Have we had those discussions?
I have not.
Met with Janet. Talked to her about it, but that needs to be brought in front, probably, I'm sure.
Yeah, they were gonna meet with that board, right?
I think it's third Wednesday now, it should be this month.
Okay, so I'd like to have concrete figures for.
Can you two coordinate the,
I told, we had a meeting with Sigmar Engineering with Smart Walk, kind of explained the scope and how things were gonna, you know, how it would work. And she understood a lot more. So,
And do we have our proposal in place to present to them? I mean, I feel like if we want to move this ball down the field, that's what we have to have ready to go.
pretty, I mean,
So-
that one that they gave, remember the sheet that we got that told what ours was, and then they split out the health department separately? That's what I presented to her.
Right. But what's the implication or implementation of that?
As far as what she's gonna do, or all
How are
this?
we going to collect those funds?
I think I'm kind of waiting to see what the next step that they give us, and then I can give her exact figures until I know.
Well,
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm with you. I would say, if we can reach an agreement with them on how they're actually going to pay this, right? Their portion of the savings, the dollar figure can come later as long as we have at least a tacit agreement on what that's gonna look like, right?
I think it should be relatively, other than what the savings are, but they should be able to estimate those to a degree.
Right, so is it basically the health department cutting a check to the county for their old power bill, the delta between the old and new power bill plus
the
the
savings.
calculated percentage savings
Right.
on new equipment and
That's,
maintenance?
yes.
Okay, so as long, I don't
That's
even
fine,
put
I
my
mean,
nose in,
and
I
I-
just wanna, as long as the health department is good with that process, and you can have that discussion on Wednesday, that could be a real sticking point, I guess is my.
Right, no, and I would like to get this back from Ori to see exactly what that figure is, then now you can take that and split it out and say, here's what it's gonna cost you.
Right.
At this point, I can give her a ballpark, I guess.
Well, I guess my thought is if they're only meeting once a month, like, if we wanna get this thing going.
It's every other month,
They
actually.
need every 2 months.
Yeah.
every other month.
So, if everybody can slap the table on, here, this is the plan, we will get you the numbers, then that's probably the best way
I'm
forward.
hoping to have pretty
Yeah, Ori
close
had-
numbers by that time.
Ori had something, he said that was a fairly standard piece that he could get us. Verbiage or contracts between, like you said, he had some examples, I thought.
There were other government entities that were in the same
That's pretty
situation.
standard, yeah,
Right.
so I don't know if that would be helpful or not, but if we only get everybody together every 2 months, that's nice to have that, like a 99% solution prior to, or by the end of that meeting.
Does Smart Lock pay for the updates on the equipment? They need a lot of work done over there on their heating and cooling. Does Smart Lock pay for that, or does the health department have to pay?
What do you specifically, what do you?
Well, there's some valves need to be replaced.
Right.
All that will be.
That's all part of this program.
That's what I wondered. That's all it was.
Yes.
Okay, good.
No, she's got multiple problems
Yeah, no,
with heating and air conditioning and basically control of that.
Right.
There's at times that they're running the heater and the air conditioner at the same time.
Yeah,
That's gotta cost.
That sounds cheap.
yeah. I just wondered.
It's because
Well, the health department is a big piece of this whole
Well,
countywide
they're
structure.
basically, just a different entity than, I mean,
Right.
they're in with the county, but same token, they're not with the county.
Right.
That's the other problem too.
Yeah, and I think where Derek's coming from is he's just wanting to make sure that the county doesn't get stuck with the pay for it and the health department gets all the benefits,
Right.
you know, so,
Yeah, I agree. It's been brought up over there too.
yeah. We just need to make sure to have all that hammered out.
Phil? John?
All good.
Did they start to drain?
We're trying to.
Carl?
We got a letter the other day from our attorney that was representing us on the rides thing. What's the status on that?
What did we?
I don't know, other than he asked me to send that letter out. He said it in his email that it was done, it's finished.
Okay, so then
Oh,
what-
that letter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so then what happens?
I don't know.
Keep the money.
Well, where's the money? I know we hold money for Clark County and
No, we're not holding money for Clark County.
they got their part back.
I don't know where their money, we didn't, we got a big check to start with.
Right.
And the state's attorney made us send it back and said, no, don't send us Clark County's, just send us ours. We got ours back. What happened to
Okay.
Clark County? I have no
So we're
idea.
not holding that?
No.
Okay,
Okay?
all right. So that money, where is it? Is it?
It's in the general fund,
Okay,
What's the sum?
like 148 grand plus a couple of grand, so 151,000 plus or minus dollars.
so basically it's done and,
Yep. At the, unless somebody comes up with something else. I was aware that the auditors and a county board member from Clark County has talked to the treasurer's office, meaning Don, about clarifications of what happened. We sent some documents to them about what happened because they're trying to figure out what their next step is. So, and I don't know what that means or doesn't mean, but they were, the auditors were on the phone with Don and I for a while. So I don't know what's going on there, but it's another issue. Totally separate from us. Thank goodness that the state's attorney made us separate that out, so we're not part of that. Okay? Derek? Do we have, Don is catching up the budget and we'll get that sent out to you by mail or electronically. It's just been one of those weeks with Don in and out, so we will get caught up with that. Again, anybody has any suggestions for a couple of these positions that are open, I would appreciate it. Thank you. Is there any need for a closed session? Okay, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Derek moves. Andy seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. We are adjourned.
Do I need to warn my son that the sheriff's department has a whole lot of paper?